Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Chambana Proud, the new podcast.
Yay!
This is Terri Reestack with Visit Champaign County, and I'm here with
Carly McCrory-McKay of the Champaign County Economic Development Corporation. Hi, Terri.
Hi, Carly.
I'm so excited.
Me too. It's going to be really fun today. It's a good way to start the day.
Yes.
So I was just curious, what you were up to this weekend.
Well, I had a lot of family in town. My little brother got married.
That's exciting.
It was very exciting. So we were in Paxton a lot this weekend and spending time with family, and I had the honor of being the officiant. So that was another layer, which was great.
One more thing that Carly can do. But, sure, of course you're an officiant.
Yes. So that was fun. And we kept checking in on all of the amazing activities that were taking place here in Champaign-Urbana, of course, because we were getting tweets and texts about things going on here that made all of the community very happy. So Terri, what were those things? Because I think you were there.
Yes, I was so excited. So got to do the homecoming game this weekend. So I'm a former marching line member, so I always love going to games. And I went with my mom and my son and his girlfriend and my boyfriend and his son. And it was just a perfect day for a game. Everybody was out tailgating early in the morning because, of course, the game started at 11. So it's always great to see people out even early in the morning. The stadium was full. I mean, it was incredible to see how full it was. And of course, we came home with a really great win against Minnesota. And that was very exciting. You could just feel the energy in there, and people stayed the whole game because it was just exciting. So it was a really great vibe on campus. Love that. And then headed to downtown Champaign afterwards for an extension of the homecoming activities, a new kind of program with 40 North and the homecoming committee where it's kind of like a Friday Night Live, but it was homecoming night live.
Which everyone loves Friday Night Live.
Yes. And it was so nice to have it. Of course, a little bit cooler, than what we're normally used to during Friday Night Live, but there were some great bands playing. New Souls was out there. Modern Drugs was out there. The Brat Pack. There was lots of kids activities happening. You saw kids walking around with their balloon animals, glitter tattoos, all of that kind of stuff. So that was really fun. So that was a great part of the weekend. But then the next morning, got up early and headed to the Great Pumpkin Patch, which is also one of my favorite places. So had to, see all the beautiful displays that MAC set up down there, which they always do such an incredible job, and everything is so thoughtful. But then, had to get some pumpkins to decorate. I might give them to my daughter to do because I'm not very artistic that way.
Did you have pumpkin ice cream?
No.
Did you have any ice cream?
No.
Terri.
I know. I did get some pumpkin cookies, though.
Oh, okay.
And those are my favorite.
Yeah, those are good.
I got quite a bit of cookies, actually.
It's hard not to buy cookies there.
Yeah. But one thing that I did do this weekend,
yes,
that, we haven't talked about yet.
This is fun.
I met the mayors Saturday morning before the game, to take their picture, because we have this really cool, fun T-shirt promotion going on.
Yes. So in the many of ways in which Terri and I brainstorm on different projects and ideas, we were at a mixer that we were hosting for new community residents over this past summer. And we get asked this one question a lot of, what is the difference between Urbana-Champaign or Champaign-Urbana? And why do people say it one way and why do others say it the other? Also, what is this issue with, or what is this whole thing about this right street and the dividing line, like the physical dividing line? So we were sort of just joking because we were like, we should really play this up. So we thought, well, we have this amazing Chambana Proud T-shirt line already, right? Yep. We should just make some T-shirts about it and see what it is. So we, of course, when we reached out to the mayors, they were both in. So yep. Mayor Finan and Mayor Marlin were totally on board from the get-go. And then we really wanted to sort of paint a picture of why this is all taking place, what the history actually is, because there's a long history about it. So we reached out to the Champaign County Historical Museum and TJ, the president there, because we knew that he would have the answers and all of the resources and be able to be a great partner with us on that. So what are we doing, Terri?
Well, today I am wearing my Team Champaign-Urbana t-shirt. And so we have a corresponding Team Urbana Champaign t-shirt, and it's so great. It's designed by Ralph Rother, who is a local artist. He's done a couple of our other t-shirts, which are fantastic. But it has Wright Street going down the middle of the t-shirt, and it also has this little badge. One says CU, the other one says UC. It has like the north and south mixed up on Wright Street based on which t-shirt you get. So some cool little details, but we are doing a little competition between the cities to see.
Friendly competition.
Yeah, friendly. See, what the community says. Like, do you like Champaign-Urbana or do you like Urbana-Champaign?
Right.
This is kind of an informal poll to see what's going to happen.
And what's really interesting is people use it interchangeably depending on who they're talking to and what setting they're in, right? So
Yes.
you may say, I live in Champaign-Urbana, but I work in Urbana-Champaign.
Yeah.
Because maybe you work for the university and
Yep.
that's what you're calling it. So
Yeah. So it's going to be kind of fun.
it will be fun.
And then I think we're going to give the mayors a trophy.
Yeah.
When all is said and done. So we found a cool picture from an old
Rivalry.
yes, and with a Wright Street trophy. So I think we're gonna maybe try to come up with do something clever like that when we see who wins. But also because the Champaign County History Museum helped us so much with the history behind this debate, a portion of the proceeds from the t-shirts are going to go to the museum. So it's a really great cause. And so if you're listening and want to get your own t-shirt for whatever side of Wright Street you're on, you can go to chambanaproud.com and order it, or come to our office at Visit Champaign County and pick it up there. So
Yes. And we ship.
yes, we do ship. So if you don't live here and you want one, we're happy to do that for you as well. So
And we have to find that trophy in that photo.
yes, we do. If not, we're going to have to kind of remake
Recreate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe with somebody else who's a little better at those kinds of things
Than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of leads us to talk about maybe a little bit what we do, right? Neither of us are artists, obviously, but we do a lot of things for the community. So I don't know, Carly, tell us what you do for EDC.
Sure. So I just celebrated year 10 here at the EDC. So I started in October 2012. And I had worked a little bit in economic development before that down in the city of Tuscola, which is where I grew up in Tuscola. So I'm a Central Illinois gal at heart. So I've been here for 10 years in different roles, took over as executive director a few years ago, but it's a really fun and cool job because I get the opportunity to work with so many different organizations in the community and a lot of the businesses all throughout the county, small and large. So really sort of the overall picture of what we do is we work with businesses to ensure that they're successful here, helping them with talent attraction strategies, helping them if they want to expand here, helping find new markets internationally if they want to export their products. So it's a really cool opportunity to just get to work with everybody at the company. We work with a lot of different departments, but we also have a small business development center in our office, which means that we get to work with a ton of different entrepreneurs, and we are blessed with a lot of amazing folks here in our community who are serial entrepreneurs, who are just starting out as entrepreneurs. So we get a cool opportunity to work with them from the ground up and help them sort of build that business and get them connected to the resources that they need here in the community. So it's sort of a lot under one umbrella, but that's part of what makes the job so fun and cool. And of course, getting to work with so many different organizations and people across the community as well, including Visit Champaign County. So Terri, what does Visit Champaign County do?
Yes. So Visit Champaign County is what's known as a destination management organization. The old term was a Convention and Visitors Bureau. You might have heard CVB, the Champaign County CVB. So Visit Champaign County is here to basically tell the community story. We're the cheerleaders of the community to talk about all the great things that are happening here so that we can bring people here to make an impact on the community. So, whether we're bringing in a sports tournament like the IHSA boys basketball tournament, which, was back last year for the first time, or a meeting or conference that's going to happen at one of our conference facilities where we have people here during the week that are staying in hotels and getting catering and going out to our restaurants and shopping. Or it's just, getting people here for their youth sports tournament or group motor coach people, student tours, or just somebody who's interested in coming to Champaign-Urbana. But we're more than just bringing visitors into the community. Our actual sole focus and purpose is enhancing the lives of our residents. Everything that we do is to make this community a better place to live. So when we work on bringing these people to this community that generates tax dollars that then goes back to this community so that we can reinvest in infrastructure and social services and all this thing that the community needs so that we can thrive together. So, when we're looking at, the types of programs that we're going to be doing, we're really looking at it from the residential perspective. So I have also been with Visit Champaign County for 10 years.
Incredible.
So maybe that's why we work so well together. We kind of started in this at the same time and have been growing up in it. And so I do all of the marketing. And so I have a great team of people around me that I get to work with. So when I started, we were a much smaller organization, and the role has really grown over the 10 years since I've been in it. And it's very exciting every year to see what's new and what's changed and the different types of things that are going on. But some of the things that I do regularly, I put together our experience guide, which hopefully you've seen around town. That's really a great resource to kind of get a sense of everything this community has to offer. I also put together our restaurant week, which is fantastic, and that is going to be coming up. That'll be a topic here for us in a couple months. And then I also, the talent attraction stuff that we work on, I worked on developing the Champaign County Film Office, so a lot of different things. So being a part of this community is just really fun, and this job is always changing and always exciting.
Right. And we have small but mighty teams at both of our organizations. So part of that is why we partner so much, right? We work broadly across the community with the municipalities, with the schools, with employers to really make all of these, programs and events happen. But yes, we've always worked together. We've always partnered a lot. We've known each other personally basically since we started.
Yeah.
But really, in the past 5 years, we've sort of ramped up and really formalized a lot of the work that we do together, which is really a lot of fun and constantly changing, right? Because the climate is constantly changing for our two types of organizations. Things have always sort of been fast-paced, right? Yep. But that's really ramped up. And there's really a bigger focus on the importance of why organizations like ours, an economic development organization and a tourism office, should work together.
Yeah. And we're definitely kind of unique in that. So I know we've gone to a couple conferences together, or, you've popped in at ours, I've popped in at yours, and people are always a little surprised. Like, what
guys talk this much?
What's happening here? It's always just kind of fascinating. And we're like, yeah, like, what's the big deal? But I think it is kind of special. And I think because we do work together so well and our brains kind of go in the same direction, we've been able to come up with some pretty cool new programs, I think.
Yep.
So.
And it's why during the pandemic, the community stepped up and worked together in the way that they did. And we never thought that we'd be working so closely with agencies like the Public Health District and helping with those efforts. But I do think just the sort of spirit in which we operate across our two organizations together is also representative of the larger community at whole. And that's what really sort of carried us through the entire pandemic and is still carrying us now and will continue to have benefits for the community.
Yeah,
so.
and I think in our circles, we are kind of the envy of a lot of people in the state of Illinois, especially. So, yeah. So, good job, Carly.
Good job, Terry. Cheers to 10 years.
Yes, can't believe it. Now I feel old. So, I guess I'm just kind of curious, like, what is your favorite part of your job? Like, what brings you the most joy?
I guess a few things. One is, and I already sort of mentioned this, but it's the how every day is truly different. And you could be working on a huge project that is going to reap significant benefits for the community. It comes with a lot of jobs. It's impacting a lot of people. But then you also might just have a conversation with an entrepreneur or maybe somebody who's just moved to the community too, that something that we did for them or helped them with made a big impact on their life, right? So it's sort of large and small, which is really cool because I think that sort of speaks to the overall ability here is that you can be here and see and feel impact in this community because we have low barriers to entry for you to engage. So that's probably my favorite aspect of the job. But honestly, over the past 10 years, we've worked to build a ton of relationships and it's really fun. Like the people that we get to work with really love the community because to be in these types of roles, you really need to love your community. Mm-hmm. You need to be here and experience it and be able to talk about it. And so I just love the fact that, I would choose Champaign-Urbana anyway, but the fact that I get to then go tell others about it and work to bring people here and businesses here, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. I mean, I honestly don't know if I could have said it any better because it is that, right? It's being able to work with these people. In my case, it's a lot of the small local businesses that are the hospitality businesses, the people that are passionate about their cuisine or, their shop because they love clothing or they have an event that they really want to get people to because they want to showcase whether it's music or art or culture and, being able to talk to them and help understand why they're doing what they're doing because they are so passionate about it and being able to take their passion and help share it to a broader audience. It's just very fulfilling and to see the impact that makes. One of my favorite stories is always to tell. In the first couple of months after I started 10 years ago, I went to Prairie Fruits Farm and Creamery, and Leslie was there at the table and was, selling some cheese. And I went up and I introduced myself and I said, "Oh, I'm with Visit Champaign County." And she just looked at me and she said, "The information you have for us is wrong." And I was like, "Oh gosh, I'm really sorry. Like I just started, let me follow up with an email and get the right information for you and get that corrected." And I was a little scared after, having that meeting. And I was like, "Gosh, what have I gotten myself into? This is going to be tough representing these businesses." And now 10 years later, my relationship with Wes and Leslie, I've gone with them, to Chicago. I was in their pickup truck and delivering cheese with them to different restaurants in Chicago. And, I've been able to sit with them after the season closes and just have a great meal, sitting with them and talking about everything that, happened that past year and like brainstorming some ideas for the next year. And it's just really, really rewarding. And then, some of these other programs that we work on, which we'll talk about here in a minute, just some of the really positive things we hear from people about this community and, being able to be in a job where you are on the positive side of all the things that are happening in the community is just fantastic because then you really do have pride in where you live. And I think that's important.
Right. And you talked about passions. I mean, I think that's also sort of part of what we love and what we hear from others, what they love, right, is we have so many different organizations and clubs and events that people can be a part of here. Name the topic, and it probably exists in some small or large fashion, right? So we've had some really fun questions to us over the years in our roles, right? And there's nothing better than being able to then go deliver that information back and just surprise somebody, right? Like, actually, we do have this, and here's the link, and they meet X, Y, and Z schedule, Yep. So
I think that actually is a really good segue into this program that we started last year because I have a really good example of how we were able to surprise somebody with an answer from that. So I don't know, maybe we should move on to talking about the Chambana Welcome Crew.
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's see here. Gosh, when did we start talking about this? It's been years now.
Yeah, I'd say probably 3 or 4 years ago we started sort of thinking through this idea of what a community ambassador program could and should look like here in Champaign-Urbana. But the reason we sort of took our time in getting the Chambana Welcome Crew off the ground was because we wanted this program to be totally authentic, which we felt was just really important and spoke to who we are here in Champaign-Urbana. So we officially launched the Chambana Welcome Crew in fall of 2021. We just celebrated our 1-year mark. We're a little past 1 year, but it's been a really awesome experience. It's been really fun to build off of that program into some other stuff. But overall, Terri, what is the Chambana Welcome Crew?
Yes. So the Welcome Crew is a group of community ambassadors that are representative of our community. All different backgrounds, different experiences here. We have lifelong residents. We have people that have lived here less than 5 years. We have people that are empty nesters and retired, and we have young professionals, people with kids, people without kids, everything you can possibly imagine we have on the Welcome Crew. And these wonderful volunteers and individuals just want to share their passion for the community and help people who are new to the area settle in. And so how the Welcome Crew works is you sign up to be an ambassador. Anybody can be one. We do have a little bit of an onboarding process to make sure that you're going to be representative of the community. And we partner ambassadors with new or potential residents. So we have an application process for both sides, and we collect all sorts of information, kind of those demographic things that I just mentioned, but also things that you're interested in the community. Maybe it's sports, maybe it's recreation, maybe it's food, maybe it's volunteer opportunities, maybe it's LGBTQ plus resources, all sorts of different types of things that you are kind of an expert on in the community. And then the new or potential resident will also fill out a similar application. And then I like to describe it as like Tinder, right? You're matching people together based on their interests. And so then that community ambassador connects with that new or potential resident and just helps answer their questions, helps them find the resources that they're looking for. Maybe they take them out for coffee or to the farmer's market. We've had people go to book clubs. We've had people go to Uncorked at Cranert. I've seen people out at Friday Night Live. And so it's really just getting these newcomers to our residents into the community, because we want people to feel like they're engaged from the moment they arrive, because we want them to love the community and we want them to stay in the community. And so our community ambassadors through the Chambana Welcome Crew are helping make that happen. And since we've launched, I think we've helped over 50 people. And I would say right now we're probably getting 1 to 2 new residents a week.
That's one of my favorite emails to get in my inbox is an application from somebody who wants to get connected to one of our ambassadors. And we collect some information on the form, right, that helps like point them in the right direction to get them connected to the right ambassador. So it's always amazing. We always talk about the Champaign-Urbana things that happen when we're traveling around the world, and we'll run into somebody with an Illini hat, right? And then we,
everywhere.
There's all those stories. But it's really cool to just see what brings people here, what they're interested in, maybe what they're considering as an option for, Champaign-Urbana as an option, but they want to know more before they make that final decision. So it's just really fun to get to see and experience that, and then to just hear all the feedback that we get from the new residents, but also from the ambassadors too. And it's sort of funny, right? There's a lot of people who talk about it's hard to make friends as you get older and to get connected. And so it makes it a little bit easier. I think one of the cool things about this program is we've had people who become friends through it, right? So they hang out even beyond their sort of term of getting connected through the Chambana Welcome Crew. So
yeah, we've held people that have helped people find jobs, and that's also really rewarding too, because they came here to the community not sure exactly what their plans were going to be, and then they land somewhere, and how big of a deal is that? They're going to talk about that with their family and friends that live elsewhere. Like, I moved here, I had this person that helped me settle in. I had this person that they even helped me find a job. That's incredible.
And moving to a new community is hard.
Yes, it is hard. We've all been there at some point in our lives. And so it definitely is a challenge.
You have to learn about where you can find your favorite foods at what grocery store.
Oh my gosh, the grocery store question. Every time.
Every time. Where to bank, where you're going to bank, where to set up your accounts. All of those sorts of things. And you figure it out over the years, but it's really easy if you can just sort of knock out all the top priority things on your list with a little bit of assistance.
Yeah. So I'm going to share this story because I think it's really impactful. So we had a couple that stopped into our office one day. They were from out in Oregon, out near Eugene, and a lovely couple who were thinking about moving out to the Midwest, and they just were on a little tour all over the area to kind of check out different cities. And they stopped in our office and just wanted to chat about what we had to offer. And so I spent quite a bit of time with them talking about the community and our amenities and learning about their interests and help guiding in those things. And then after we talked for a while, the gentleman said to me, one of the things that's going to actually be the most important is making sure we have resources for our adult daughter who has autism. And I just kind of smiled and I said, well, remember that Chambana Welcome program that I was telling you about? We do have an ambassador who is an adult who has autism. And, she wanted to serve on this committee because she wanted to help other people that might come here with those needs and make sure that they're able to get connected. And I think their jaws almost like dropped to the floor. I think they were so shocked to hear that not only do we have those resources readily available, but we have a volunteer already as part of that program who can help get people settled into finding those resources. And, I don't know if they ended up moving here or not. I haven't heard. It was kind of a thing. They were just doing their initial homework. But I certainly think that conversation helped move us to the top of the list. And, that's how thoughtful this program is. And, we're always looking for more ambassadors that may have those specialty interests that do exist in this community. And, we want to make sure that we're providing those resources. So if you're out there listening to this and, you
love Champaign-Urbana.
Yeah, and you feel inspired, and if you feel like you have something to share, with people that move here, like, please sign up. We have a great group of people, but we're always looking for more because we don't want to overwhelm anybody. And so it's really easy to sign up. You just go to yourwelcomecu/CWC. And just fill out the application. We'll put this in the podcast notes so you can link to it. But it's a great way to feel like you're doing something for your community without spending a ton of time on it, and just to feel good about helping somebody moving here.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be heartwarmed by all the stories that you hear and the questions that you're asked. And one of the other coolest things about the program that we've witnessed and experienced is that a lot of people moved here during the pandemic, right? So they did not get the traditional experience that you might if you moved here during any other time, of course. So a lot of people just were in their houses, or they didn't go out and explore as much, or maybe they just did a lot of walking around the community, but they never popped into some stores. So we have a lot of folks who have engaged with us and come to some of our events that we have as part of the Chambana Welcome Crew that have basically been here since 2020, but still feel a little bit disconnected. And so it's been really nice to have them join us as part of this program, come to some of the events that we've run, just to be able to answer their questions. And, they're still figuring things out and making decisions too. But, it was lonely and sort of scary to come to a new community in the middle of a pandemic. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, if you are a new resident and you're listening to this, please go to the website and check out our list of ambassadors. And, please contact us to get connected. We're literally doing this every single day and connecting people. And, one of the other great things that has come out of this program is our new to see you mixers. You've mentioned it a couple of times. And, we're recording this podcast earlier in the week, and we're going to be hosting our third new to see you mixer here coming up at the Rose Bowl Tavern on October 19th. And we're going to have new souls there. We're going to be serving balderotas. Yum. I'm drooling just thinking about it. By the time this airs, that mixer will have come and gone, but we are doing these quarterly, so there's lots of opportunities throughout the year to come to these events and get connected with other newcomers. So these mixers are just a space that we provide for newcomers to come together and meet each other and connect. And the ones that we've had so far at Blind Pig Brewery, at Lake of the Woods golf course, playing some foot golf, has just been so fantastic and heartwarming. We just kind of like check everybody in and give them name tags, and we just kind of stand back and let them talk. And it's just been so fun to watch these relationships getting formed.
Mm-hmm. And it's really fun because we move around the community, of course. So we're hosting them at different locations so that people also get to experience and see things that they may not have been to before. So we were at the Blind Pig to start. And as you mentioned, we went to Muhammad and played some foot golf. We're gonna,
Not you, though.
No, not me. I just sat back and watched because I don't really love exercise that much. And we'll have been at the Rose Bowl by the time that this airs. So it's just a great mix. And we've got some fun things planned for 2023, too. So yeah. I'm excited about that.
I am, too. I think, of all the things that we've done together, this one might, I think, be one of the most impactful. And I think it's pretty awesome. And I know we have some more things coming, which hopefully we'll be able to talk about, in the coming months. But, this is certainly one of those things that really, when we talk about enhancing the lives of our residents, this is one of those things. So,
yeah. And it's always the best thing we can hear is, I really love this community.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I love this community. And I love it when other people love this community. So, yeah, that's the Chambana Welcome Crew.
Check it out.
Yes.
If you're interested in becoming an ambassador, sign up. The other big thing we forgot is all of this is totally free to utilize.
Yeah. You mentioned low barriers to access, right? For us, that's a big deal in everything that we do. We want it to be easy. We want it to be free. and we want people to feel like they can take part in it. And so new to see you mixer is totally free. We even provide the food. So you don't even have to worry about dinner.
And really good food.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned Balderotas, right? I mean, is there a better sandwich?
We had Wooden Hog.
Yeah, Wooden Hog. Oh my God, that was so good. And we had Rosati's Pizza. They were so lovely and helped us out with that. They were great to work with, new owners out there. And so
We like to give the full Champaign-Urbana experience at all of our events. So we really mix things up.
Yep. So I'm excited for what's coming up.
Me too.
It's going to be great. All right. So I think we're going to enter, the next part. So this is going to be something that we're going to be doing every podcast. So moving forward, we're going to be having a guest with us, but we thought for episode 1, we should really kind of do a get to know Terri and Carly sort of exercise. But we're going to have 3 questions that we're going to ask each of our guests. So I'm going to start with you, Carly.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you these 3 questions. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 1, what is it that you love about living here?
Well, I like to stay busy and take advantage of as much as I can because I think, we all have a ton of different interests. But the thing that I appreciate the most is that I value my time with my work, with my family, and with my friends. And I can pack a ton into my daily life by living in this community. My commute to work is about 5 minutes. I can get anywhere in under 15 minutes. And that allows the ability to just, do all of the things that I want to do. I can, after work, I can hop on over to, a restaurant and have a quick appetizer before I go to Huff Hall and catch a volleyball game. And then I'm usually back at home by 9. So I very much value time, and Champaign-Urbana allows me to have a very, packed schedule and really enjoy a lot of different things because it's so easy to get around.
Yeah. Okay.
And I hear a lot, right? I have, all of our friends and stuff that live in other places, and they spend hours commuting, and the amount of time and effort that takes is just not anything that I would ever, be interested in.
No,
so
me either. Okay. Good answer. Next up, what's your favorite restaurant?
This is very difficult because you have different things for different times of the year. And do you want a dessert after you're done, right? So taking out all of those factors, if I just had to give you my gut reaction, probably Nando in downtown Champaign.
Okay. I do love Nando. Yep. It's good stuff. Okay. I think we've been there together.
Yes, we've been there together.
Yeah. But you had a but.
Well, yes, I was just going to say that if I was having like a cocktail or something, I might pop across the street and also do a beginning or a dessert cocktail at Punch.
Yeah. Their cocktails are pretty fantastic. Their bartender is spot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And gave us a lot of entertainment during the height of the pandemic.
Yeah, they were great to work with.
They were great to work with, yes.
Yeah. All right. What do you like to do on the weekends?
On the weekends. Okay, so depending on the season again, but we usually do Saturday morning. Well, if we kick off on Friday night and it's in the summer, we're always doing Friday Night Live in downtown Champaign. We typically hit up the Urbana Farmers Market on Saturday morning and load up on groceries, cheese, and flowers for the week. Those are my staple.
You and your flowers.
Yeah, me and my flowers. Those are my staple items. And then we're usually catching a game, maybe grabbing food at a food truck at a brewery, depending on who's where and what times that's all happening. And then usually time with like friends or family going out to eat or something like that. So that's probably, and then Sunday, just grocery shopping. Usually. I'm usually at Harvest Market multiple times a week, but definitely on Sundays.
Yeah. Okay.
So Terri.
Oh, yes. My turn.
Your turn. Okay. What is it that you love about living here in Champaign-Urbana?
Kind of a little bit of what you said, right? Being able to squeeze a lot into our weekends. I have 2 kids and they don't really need me anymore. But, when they were younger, I am a single mom. And so, getting them where they needed to be and after work was so much easier in this community because I could leave work and get to them very quickly and get them where they needed to be very quickly and still pick up dinner. So that was a big thing. But I think one of the things that I love the most is just being able to be in a community where you know the people that are here. And some of that is my job, right? Because I do get connected to a lot of different people, but it's also just a really easy community to get to know the people that live here. It's small enough that you do see people that you know, your neighbors, your friends, when you're out. And it's so nice to like go to the farmer's market or to go to Friday Night Live and just be surprised by who you run into and feel connected. And, it just makes you smile whenever you run into somebody.
And feel connected on a personal level,
Yes.
even outside of work, even though we work with all of these folks all the time.
Yep.
I think that's really something special here too.
I will say it makes my kids crazy. Like, Mom, do you have to talk to everybody that you see? Yes, I do. So it's probably one of my favorite things is that you just really feel like you're a part of the community here. And I think that's really special.
That is special. Okay, this one is probably harder for you than it is for me because you organize an annual restaurant week. You're a foodie. But what is your favorite restaurant in Champaign-Urbana?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, especially during restaurant week time. And I always say that it's like picking my favorite kid. It's hard. Kind of like you said, there's a little bit of need for everything. Like I love Indian food. And so, picking my favorite restaurant there. I love any sort of ethnic food. Like I was just at Sticky Rice this weekend. I missed out on my leftovers, but it was really delicious. But kind of like what you said, if I had to pick one overall restaurant, and this is going to go right up against what you said, it's got to be Timponi's. I love Timponi's. And, it's one of those ones that I think people forget about after a while. But man, every time I go, the food is fantastic. It's so fresh. It's delicious. They always have different specials and seasonal things that are going on. I love the fact that it hasn't changed inside in a very long time. I think that adds to its charm. It's a great restaurant.
And where is
it.
Timponi's, Terri, for our listeners who haven't been there?
Yeah, it's actually right by Cranert Center for the Performing Arts, which makes it a great place to go to before you go for a show. Also next door to the Bread Company, another one of those ones that's on the top of my list.
Fondue, yes.
Yeah. So it's great. They take reservations, which I highly recommend doing because it does get, crowded. So, after 5 o'clock, parking is free at Cranert Center, so you can park there and go over. So, Timponi's.
So clearly there's a theme. We like Italian food and good desserts.
Yes. And good wine.
And good wine, yes.
Yeah.
Well, me beer mostly, but you wine, yes. All right, what are you doing on the weekends, Terri?
Well, I like to spend a good amount of time outside. So a lot of times I'm, minimally going for at least a walk. So that's always kind of nice to get out there. And this time of year especially, it's beautiful out right now with all the leaves changing. So I'm always walking somewhere. I like to visit our forest preserves. I like to go hiking out there or kayaking. I have my own kayak, so to go out to some of those places and just, get out on the water for a little bit. But I usually like to go out to eat over the weekend at least once. So that's a big part of my weekends. But I also, Saturdays are my getting stuff done around my house day, so that I can enjoy the rest of my weekend. So I do that, but you can almost always find me at the library on the weekends. I read a lot. And so
Terri, how many books did you read last year?
122.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think I'm at 86 right now for the year. So I won't match last year. I can't. This year's been really busy, but yeah.
Incredible.
I read a lot. So I'm at the library a lot.
You are there a lot, yes.
So yeah.
And we bump into each other quite a bit on the weekends.
We do. So going to art fairs, going to Friday Night Live, going to an event that's happening in the community. I usually try to stop by at least to check it out and see how it's going and take some pictures and just see what's going on in our community.
Yeah, because there's always so much going on every weekend.
Yep.
Visit Champaign County has an amazing calendar of events where there's, hundreds sometimes events going on in a 1 week span in our community.
Feels like it.
It feels like it. We have big events all throughout the year, as Terri sort of mentioned, some of the big ones that they help bring into this community. But we always have a lot of small events going on too, put on by some incredible teams and organizers around the community. So Terri, what is coming up within the next few weeks here in Champaign-Urbana?
Yeah, so we thought this would be a good thing to do every time, right? Because there are so many things going up on. And, I think one of the things that makes me crazy is when I hear somebody say, I'm bored.
I have nothing. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, it makes me absolutely insane. So don't say it to me. I might yell at you. But yeah, there's a lot coming up. So I'm going to just kind of run down a list of some cool things.
Great.
This is one of my favorite things to talk about, the Folk and Roots Festival. I love this festival because it is a very passionate group of volunteers that puts this on every year, and it takes over a lot of Urbana. And it's some great music. They've got dozens of performances that are happening. It starts Thursday, and then it goes through Saturday, and it's going to be at Crandon Center, at the Urbana Free Library, at Rose Bowl, at NOLA's, at C4A, a couple other locations. It's not just live music. They have workshops and demonstrations. Some of the performances are free, so you can check that out on their website and which ones you don't have to go to. But you know what? You can go to all of them for just $40. The festival pass is very affordable, and it really goes to support a very great festival that really showcases this community. So that's Folk and Roots. Check it out. Go look at their website. It's folkandroots.org, so you can kind of see what their schedule is going to be. But then, you know, one of the things that I think is cool about this community is we have so many great cultures to showcase. So there's 2 great events that are happening this weekend that showcases different parts of Asian culture. And the first one is new. It's a Boba Fest. My daughter thought it was funny because she thought, kind of like my thinking that the javelin was a lightsaber, she thought I was saying Boba Fett, which is also from Star Wars, Carly, because I know you don't know that.
I don't know that reference. No.
But Boba Fest is happening on Saturday at Lincoln Square, and this is really celebrating Asian culture through boba. I actually have never tried it, but maybe I should go and check this out and try it. But they're going to have local boba shops on hand, so you can try some different ones. They're going to have some musical performances and other activities. So that's happening at Lincoln Square this Saturday from 2 until 8 p.m.
And as a side note, the boba emoji.
Yes.
A professor at the university and some partners of hers created it. So if you ever use that in text, it was developed right here in Champaign-Urbana.
Thank you for that, Carly. That's awesome. So the other sort of cool event that's happening this weekend that is focusing on Asian culture is Diwali on the Quad. I love this event because of just how cool it looks, right? It's the celebration of lights, and they have this on the quad, and the quad just looks incredible, especially at night. And, you know, it gets darker earlier right now, so it's really cool. This is done by the Indian Graduate Students Association. They are going to have some activities and performances and Indian food. I mentioned that as being one of my favorite things in town. It's actually starting at 5:30 on Saturday night, the 22nd. So if you want to get out there, it is actually going to be gorgeous out this weekend, a perfect time to be outside. So check that out. I think it's really kind of cool to see these 2 different ways of looking at Asian culture in our community. Another great one that's coming up this weekend, this one's really kind of unique and important. It's the Disability Resource Expo, and they do this every year. It's going to be out at Marketplace Mall on Saturday from 11 to 4. They really just bring together a bunch of different resources in the community to kind of share what they can do for the people in our community that have disabilities, which is exceptionally important so that we can make sure that everybody's quality of life here is good. And so I think it's really important to recognize this event and make sure that people that need those resources are able to get there and see what's available, but also just for people in this community to have a recognition of the many different resources that we have here. So
and be able to share that information. Yes.
Yep.
And that's totally free. So all day on Saturday.
Yeah. Carly, I want you to talk about this next one. It's happening at Broadway Food Hall.
Yes, this is one of my favorite Champaign-Urbana events. And so Pachacacha is happening on October 28th, 7 p.m. at Broadway Food Hall. And the theme of this PK is spooky stories. So it's got a little bit of Halloween theme. But one of the reasons I love this event is because this is a great way to just meet people, but also just sort of see and understand all of the amazing community members that we have and their stories. It's a storytelling event. So the concept is 20 by 20. They present 20 images and they spend 20 seconds on each image, sort of telling this bigger story. And there's been some incredible events in the past. We've laughed, we've cried.
Definitely cried.
And so this one might be a little bit of a different theme with spooky stories, but it's a perfect setting. Broadway Food Hall will be really great. There's a lot of amazing food that you can get as part of this event that's served at Broadway. But just really fun to go check out, fun to meet people, and I think you'll be shocked and surprised by the storytelling that happens. They put a lot of work into sharing their stories and putting their slides together. And so definitely check that out if you're available.
And this is the first one since the pandemic.
Yes. So it's kind of a hoorah of bringing that back. And I think, it'll just be great. So check that out.
Yeah. And the last one I want to mention, I kind of want to mention it because it's one of those sort of low barriers to access thing. So the Chicago Symphony Orchestra is going to be at Krannert Center for the Performing Arts on October 29th, performing at 7:30 p.m. I was treated to a wonderful performance with the CSO in Chicago this past January, and it was amazing. The performance was just incredible. And of course, the trip to Chicago was wonderful and, fantastic, and had a great dinner up there, but it's expensive, right? The whole process, the tickets, the dinner, the hotel, everything that
takes time.
Everything that goes along with seeing the Chicago Symphony Orchestra in Chicago. So this is just one of those examples of the types of things that we have access to here for a much lower cost, free parking, great restaurants surrounding Krannert Center.
You're home in 10 minutes after the show.
So it's just a really excellent opportunity to take advantage of some wonderful culture that comes here without having to go outside of the community to do it. So if you've never seen the symphony, this might be a really good opportunity for you to check that out. So Krannert Center is just really special.
October 29th.
7:30 p.m. Get your tickets.
And we'll put the link in the show notes, but all of these events are on Visit Champaign County's calendar.
Yep.
This is just a small sample of what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. So go check out all of the amazing things. You can sign up for their newsletter to get these events delivered to your inbox every other week, so that you can stay sort of at the forefront and go check out all of these amazing things that our community has to offer. So
Thank you for that, Carly. All right, so I think we're getting to the end.
Yes. So one of the things that we always sort of want to do, because we have so many fun facts about Champaign-Urbana, is we're always going to leave you with a question that we'll answer on the next episode. So we talk about all of these things all the time, whether it's something that was invented here or somebody that, a celebrity that was from here, or maybe just the history of a particular event in our community that has a really cool backstory. So we're going to do this every episode. We'll answer it on the next episode. So our area fun fact, or really sort of question for this episode, is that the University of Illinois became a pioneer in accessibility when it did what?
Do you want me to read the options?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 1. Designed the famous blue and white accessibility signs depicting a person in a wheelchair. Number 2, became the first college in the United States to establish a collegiate wheelchair basketball team. Or number 3, invented the first ever motorized wheelchair. So those are some good options.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we'll answer it on the next episode. And speaking of the next episode, we're going to have our very first guest, which we're very excited about. Terri, who is joining us?
I'm really excited about this. We're going to have Laura Blyle from ChambanaMoms.com with us next week, and we work with Laura a lot and talk with Laura a lot, and I think this
we
is
all utilize ChambanaMoms.com a lot.
Yep. So I think this is going to be a fun episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll have Laura joining us next time. In the meantime, if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, drop us a note via our email, which we'll drop in the show notes. And we're excited to wrap up episode 1, and we'll be coming to you next with episode 2. Laura Blyle of ChambanaMoms.com. Cheers, Terri.
Cheers, Carly.